And so if you recall, we did talk about midsegments of triangles, right? The midsegment of a triangle is a segment that connects what? The midpoints of any two sides, right? So we would connect the midpoints of these two sides. And the properties were, it was parallel to that third side and also what? Half the length, right? So if this was x, this would be 1/2 x. If you thought of this as being y, this would be 2y. Again, depending how you think about it, but the midsegment's going to be half the length of that base. Okay, so the midsegment of a trapezoid is very similar to this. Okay, if you take any trapezoid, okay, the midsegment is defined as the segment of a trapezoid. Oops. Back. So it's the segment that connects the midpoints of the two legs of a trapezoid. Okay, so this would be your midpoints of each of these legs. So if these two sides were equal, these two aren't necessarily the same as the other side, but they are the same as each other. So this represents the midpoints of your legs. If you create the segment that connects those, that is your midsegment. Okay, and just like with the triangle, there are two properties that you need to be aware of. Okay, the first is that it is parallel to the basis. Okay, so it's parallel to both bases. And then second, again, very similar to the midsegment of a triangle, and that is its length is going to be the average of the two bases. Okay, which means if we identified this as base 1 and base 2, and we said that our midsegment, we'll call it M to represent that length, okay, the midsegment is going to equal 1/2 the sum of those bases. Okay, so in looking at this, you're going to have relatively basic type of questions involving this. The easiest possible one would be something to the effect of, and remember, in a trapezoid, the bases don't have to be the top and the bottom, right? They can be the sides. It just represents the parts that are parallel to the sides that are parallel to each other. Okay, so if I had given you this information and I want you to find this midsegment, okay, that's as simple as it can get. What would x have to be? It's the average of the basis, so 5 plus 11. Divide by 2 gives you 16 halves, or